Research from the property consultant Savills indicates that half of office space let out in Dublin in the final 3 months of last year has yet to be built. The practice is known as preletting. Roland O'Connell, chairman of Savills, is here. And Roland, this brings to mind some of the madness of the boom when people were going out to buy houses that had yet to be built. Is this a new feature of the office sector?
No, it's not a new feature, but it tends to rise more to a greater degree in a rising market, I suppose it's fair to say. And you'll be aware that in the Dublin office market we had 4 or 5 years where no new buildings were built. And so as demand picked up, it meant that there were more people looking for offices and there were good quality offices available, and particularly at the larger end of the market. And people always like choice. If we're trying to buy a suit or a shirt or whatever, we like to have more than one choice. So people like to be able to look around. And in the current market, looking around meant that people were looking at buildings which weren't yet built but which had planning permission. From a developer's point of view, it's very attractive to do pre-letting because they have certainty. And so both from a developer and a tenant's point of view, there was an attraction, and hence we've resulted in pre-lettings.
So does this mean higher rents?
No, traditionally it would have been in actual fact because you're buying something to be delivered in the future. But in the current cycle, if anything, the rents being achieved are slightly lower than what you'd pay for a ready-to-go option. And the reason for that, again, is that the certainty that it brings to the developer. They can finance new development more cheaply and are willing to pass on some of that saving to the tenant.
And is it Dublin-centric, or is it something that we're seeing around the rest of the country as well?
It's almost entirely Dublin-centric. It is beginning to show or to pop its head up a little bit in Cork and Galway, again because of the lack of ready-to-go product in those locations. But it's probably slightly more difficult again to get bank finance in those locations than would be in Dublin.
Now, we see a walk around Dublin city centre, you see that there are buildings springing up all over the place. So is this something that should filter out over time as more buildings come online, or is this something that's going to continue for the foreseeable future?
You put your finger on it. I think it will reduce over time as there are more buildings built and more immediate availability. The number of pre-lettings will fall, but they should continue to be a feature of the market going forward, mainly at the bigger end. Most pre-lettings are for people seeking space of over 5,000 square metres, and there don't tend to be too many buildings of that size hanging around the market at any particular time.
Now, there's a lot of anticipation about companies who might seek to move to Dublin as Brexit plays out over the coming years. Is this something, are you getting questions, queries from companies abroad? Is this something that we might have to deal with down the tracks?
It's looking like a certainty that we will now. Over the last 6 months or so, we've all had to deal with queries from prudent companies seeing what their options were should they need to move from the UK as a result of Brexit. We're now seeing a number of those companies actually putting their plans in place, and so there are people going around the Dublin office market looking specifically for offices to locate to.
And is there space to accommodate them, or could we be looking at a real bottleneck here if a number of companies decided to move?
Well, that's a question a lot of people ask, but no, there won't be a bottleneck. There are plenty of offices to accommodate them, mainly because the size bracket that these people are in is a bracket where there's existing supply to cater for them, and that combined with the growing amount of completions over 2017 and 2018 in the office market will more than cater for the Brexiteers.
Roland O'Connell, chairman of Savills, thank you very much indeed. Currencies